forget to rate our show and subscribe.
Before we begin this podcast, if you or someone you know is in crisis or needs emotional support, there are tools that can help. So get yourself a pen and paper or open a note-taking app on your phone or computer. Feel free to pause this episode while you get yourself ready. The episode starts at 1 minute and 52 seconds. You can call Talk Suicide Canada at 1-833-456-4566. You can text 45645, which is coming in the fall of 2023. In Canada, you can also call 988, the Kids Help Phone at 1-800-668-6868. The Trans Lifeline in Canada is 1-877-330-6366. And in the United States, 1-877-565-8860, or call 911. You are not alone, and you do not have to be alone. I would like to honor and recognize the traditional and unceded territories of the Katzie, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo nations on whose territory I live, work, and play. Welcome to We Are the ADHD Family Podcast. This podcast is meant to chronicle our journey with ADHD, autism, and other discoveries along the way. I reach out to advocates, experts, individuals, and other families that want to raise their voices and empower those on their journey. My name is Mark Smeets, and I am passionate about removing barriers for others through creating connections and building on strengths and practical problem solving. I am married to Siobhan, a parent of 2 wonderful kids, and all of us have ADHD. I want you to feel like you have power and hope. And now, into the episode. Tonight I was going to make Owen some chili, and my can opener was giving me grief. It didn't want to work. It was partly cutting the can open, and I got really frustrated with it. So I start opening the beans, get about, 98% of the way there, and I can't get those 2 little things off of the can. And I just thought, I wonder if I can move the lid, and that's exactly what I did. I moved the lid and rotated it a bit. I still can't get everything out. And I'm like, I'm just going to take my can opener and I am going to hit the can with it. So I did. For those that have ADHD will know that I did not think ahead, and I did not drain the can either. And so when I smacked the can lid with the can opener, I was covered in black beans. Welcome to a special announcement episode of the show. So I've got 2.5 announcements. One is going to be about the introduction of a subscription service. The half announcement is just branching off of that. I'm just going to talk about accepting donations. And the second one is a new, feature for the show. I've been toying around with this. I'm going to introduce a subscription service. If you were already a subscriber, don't worry. I'm not going to change the plan and upgrade it on you. If that's what you were paying before, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. I have no intentions of changing what's in the past. For the new price of the show, though, I've decided to set it at $2.99 Canadian. I have no idea what that works out to be US, but I'd like to talk about why I've decided to do this and what you're going to get out of it. Number 1, I don't believe in barriers for something that is so important. That's why all the episodes that have been released in parts and how I've been doing everything is free and is going to stay free. The episodes in the parts, they're easier to access. They are these bite-sized little chunks instead of these mammoth episodes where you have to scour for information. If you're the kind of person that likes to listen to the entire conversation in one go in one 2 or 3 hour file, then the subscription is absolutely for you. Number 2, having a little bit of money come in from the episodes helps my family out. It does also take time to edit these episodes as well. Number 3, as my wife says, I talk a lot. And now that you've heard a whole bunch of these episodes, I'm sure you can attest to that. And sympathize with my wife. I'm sorry, honey. Anyways, not every episode is going to be a 2 or 3 hour conversation. I certainly wasn't expecting that to happen with Pat, and I wasn't expecting that with Melissa either. But knowing me, that is what the norm is going to be. I love getting into deep conversations. I love digging into details. And honestly, as parents, we struggle trying to figure out what to do or finding someone that understands that's going through what you're going through right now. You know that my family has been where you probably are right now. And that's hard. It can be a dark place. So that's why I've split the content the way that I have. The episodes stay mainly free, but if you want that little something extra, that longer episode where you just want to have, that unedited, continuous conversation, the subscription is for you. With this subscription service, you're going to get access to full, unedited episodes, and you will get them before the parts of the episodes are released. So, for example, I like to release things on the Monday. You'll get it on the Sunday or Saturday. I'm also going to be looking at another method of donation or contribution as well, because again, it is a lot of work to do this stuff. I love doing it. It's fun. And it helps us, it helps me, and I know it helps other people out there. So if there's something that you can spare, when you see the link for a donation, please, that would really be fantastic. And yeah. Number 2, if you've noticed the naming of the episodes I've put up, and I started this with our first guest, when you look at Patricia Shepard's name, I called it The Advocateur. You may be wondering what that exactly is. I didn't just make it up. So a raconteur is a storyteller. Think of someone who tells you a story. They have an interview with somebody and they hold your attention. Think of that masterful storyteller. That idea. I'm not exactly calling myself a masterful storyteller, but hey, you're listening. My favorite podcast is called The Raconteurs. It's run by 2 gentlemen, Gary Kemp and Guy Pratt, and it's basically living music history. Gary Kemp played in Spandau Ballet and a whole host of other things. Guy Pratt, he's a bass player. That's partly why I know him. I'm not ashamed of that. But he's the bassist who played with Madonna on Like a Prayer. He's played in Pink Floyd. He's played in, both of these guys have played with everybody, and they have... how many famous musician friends that you know. The podcast I listened to this morning was basically the original singer from Slade, and he was giving the story of how John Bonham ended up with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, and he used to drive Robert Plant around. I love this podcast. It's my favorite one. If you want music history, go check it out. So they're basically interviewing their friends, because they're fans of their friends as well, and all the people that they look up to, they talk to their idols, and it's amazing to hear how these stories came to be. That is the standard I have been trying to live up to, and it's been a heck of a lot of fun. So I don't want any of my episodes to be about, woe is me, poor me. That will be a part of it. I think the accepting that things are hard is always going to be there. But again, it's like I say in at the start of every episode, I want things to be about hope because we do all care. My family's story is about hope. As frustrated as we were, there is a lot of hope. Basically, from this point on, any guest that I have on, I'm going to refer to them as an advocateur. I'm basically taking the word advocate and the word raconteur and combining them together. This is what we are, right? We're advocates telling a story, and we're all invested in this story. You don't need to be super famous to be telling interesting stories either. It's the experience of what we've gone through that holds this all together. So I'm also going to keep the show name the same. I'm not changing that, but I wanted to introduce this new element to it and just see where things go. So if you're wondering what an advocateur is, now you know what it is. And there you go. There are the 2 announcements. 2.5 announcements. So wherever you are in the world, please, everything that we do, everybody that we advocate with, all the things that we fight for, do it with kindness. Treat others with kindness in how you reach out and when you reach out. Treat yourself with kindness as you do it, because it's hard. It is hard. And lastly, just so I say it and you hear it from somebody else, if you haven't heard it in a while, I just want to say you're enough. You really are. And I know the effort that it takes to pull this off. My wife knows the effort it takes. It's hard. So wherever you are, have yourself a great week, great night, great day. That's it for now.
Thank you for listening to our show.
If you're hearing this message, you've reached the end of the episode, and for that, I want to say thank you. I hope you have enjoyed what you've heard and are walking away with newfound knowledge.
We are the ADHD family.
See you soon for a new episode. I have 3 things to ask of you. Number 1, if you have any comments, questions, or guest ideas, please leave a comment on the Facebook page. Number 2, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps people find us. And number 3, if you want to be a guest on the show or know someone who would make a great guest, contact me through our Facebook page. This podcast is open to everyone. You don't need to be an expert, just passionate and want to see change. The opinions expressed by the host and guest are not associated with any employer or organization unless otherwise stated. Any medical information on this site and podcast is provided as an information resource only and is not to be used or relied on for any diagnostic or treatment purposes. This information does not create any patient-physician relationship and should not be used as a substitute for a professional diagnosis and treatment. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any healthcare decisions or guidance about a specific medical condition. The show, host, and its guests expressly disclaim responsibility and shall have no liability for any damages, loss, injury, or liability whatsoever suffered as a result of your reliance on the information contained in this site or show. By visiting this site and listening to this show, you agree to the terms and conditions, which may from time to time change or be supplemented by the show host.